Hey there, Toonami faithful, and welcome back aboard Toonami Absolution, where we talk about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John, Cowboy Bebop, session 21 and session 22, Boogie Woogie Feng Shui and Cowboy Funk. So Boogie Woogie Feng Shui was aired November 12th, 2001. Cowboy Funk, not until February 5th, 2002. There's a weird story behind this. Obviously, Cowboy Funk features buildings exploding, so in Adult Swim's post 9/11 desire to avoid controversy, they moved it back. Originally, the plan was it was going to air on November 12th. No, it was going to air on November 12th, they put it for 9/11. They then announced it's going to air February 11th, 2002. But on the night, it didn't. This has led to a rumor that Adult Swim lost the tape. But I couldn't confirm that with any official source. But yeah, they did announce it was going to be February 11th. They made a big deal of it being like the last Lost Bebop episode.
Yeah.
It didn't air that night. February 15th is when it finally aired. So I imagine we're sort of waiting that long to find out to meet Andy. Those poor people, they had to wait for the best character in Bebop.
I do have to throw this out here because it was mentioned right before we started recording. Sam, so about that being the last goofy episode of Cowboy
So,
Bebop.
so there's two things. Every time I'm like, I think this is the last Jet Black centric episode of Cowboy Bebop. Hey, I think this is the last goofy episode before, shit gets real. Both are wrong on both counts, frankly. Because our first episode is a Jet centric episode. And our second episode this week is perhaps the goofiest episode that we've seen in a while. Probably since the shrooms. Probably since the shrooms. But
I love
yeah.
this twink flavored cowboy.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. I love a good rival, and if they're an outrageous cowboy person, all the better.
I mean, we should probably start with talking about Jet's episode, but I really want to talk
Oh
about the
yeah.
cowboy episode.
Yeah, so yeah, Jet, I mean, familiar face from the past. He's always kind of like this dude was a colleague's daughter, but I wouldn't mind everyone he the seeing him trying to be like, I could be your boyfriend, and it's just like, no, get out of here with that.
I love that beat. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Uh,
How old is Jet?
I assumed he's like in his late 40s or 50s.
I mean, it was the 90s. That's how you used to look in your 30s.
Yeah.
Also true. If Spike Spiegel is in his 20s, I think he's like canonically like 27 or something, maybe even younger I want to say he's like 27 during this. Jet's kind of like the older brother figure. He's maybe in his early 40s. He's maybe like 15 years older
Yeah.
than Spike.
Because, yeah, it has to be because Jet met the guy 10 years ago and Jet was already a high-ranking police officer. Presume that would take him. Jet was good. That's got to take you at least 5-10 years to get that high ranking.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm Googling it.
How old is Jet Black? I wondered while you're doing that. I will point out, I love what's almost.
He's 36.
Oh.
He is 36.
See, kids, that's what bounty hunting and smoking will do to you.
Yeah.
They'll give you a robot arm.
Yeah.
He is 2 years older than me.
Kindred spirits.
I'm older than Jet. I'll just leave it at that.
Spike is 27 canonically, and Faye is 23 physically.
Yeah, depending how we're going to count that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like suspended animation kind of breaks the rules a bit. I mean, but
yeah, 36.
Okay. So older than Jet Black now. Okay.
I do love
right about that one.
we kind of have this now recurring gag of whenever someone contacts Jet, it ends horribly.
Yeah.
And I like this episode kind of starts with him almost cottoning on to that. It's like whenever anyone from my past contacts me, it just ends poorly.
Yeah. I mean, this is the happiest it gets, right? For someone that reaches out to Jet. I mean, at least for May, not so much your dad.
Oh, only one of them dies, which for Jet is just a result.
Yeah.
I do love May's feng shui time travel device. I don't know what I would call. I don't know what the name of that thing is. I'm sorry to anybody who does know, but it's so interesting. It's her dragon radar. I don't know, but it's really cool.
Yeah, it is. This episode's a lot of fun for the sort of the old and new combination.
Yeah. It's probably the funnest Jet centric episode, or at least the lightest Jet centric episode.
I feel like Jet beating up the mooks.
Yeah, it's not as neo noir as some of the other Jet episodes that we've had.
This felt like You know what this kind of felt like? And maybe I'm crazy and you can tell me if I am. This kind of felt like Rush Hour.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, am I crazy for thinking this kind of had a Rush Hour energy to it?
I mean, they were jumping off a bus, which is very Jackie Chan.
That's very Rush Hour. It's very Rush Hour. I assume in this scenario, which one's Jackie and which one's Chris Tucker?
I think that Jet Black is Chris Tucker.
Oh, okay.
I would say he's
Yeah.
Jackie Chan because he's the fish out of water here.
See, I would only say he's Chris Tucker because of his verbal flubs. Like, I could be your boyfriend. No, that's bad. Hang on. Like, verbally, I think he's Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Oh, and
All right.
in case you're curious, Alyx, the device she's holding is called a Lupan, a Leopan, Luopan. They don't actually look like they're not as rotatey in real life.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's disappointing.
You can't shove rocks in them.
Also disappointing.
I'm sure someone on Etsy has made a one-to-one recreation of this.
Get in the comments. Find it on Etsy.
I do like as well. We get the nod that the two assassins are the Blues Brothers,
Yes.
Yes.
Very clearly. Very
which is
clearly.
a lot of fun. And I love Jet in this episode because it's fun to see Jet on the back foot a little bit, like because he's very cute when he's flustered, and I like
Yeah.
how he kind of does Spike's lashing out thing, but just in a much softer way, like the no smoking thing. It's like one of the first times we'll see Jet be like, "This is my ship."
Yeah.
My ship.
Yeah,
Like,
So
I
I
do
also
like. I like it. I like it a lot.
well, and there's also certain scenes where Jet's almost animated facially like Spike, where he's kind of like like kind of got the pouty face with his arms crossed. There is that kind of like more comedic angle to Jet because Jet's usually our exposition man. Is usually our backup and exposition source.
And
So
yet,
yeah, this he gets to have a little fun this time around with like, parental death along the way, but yeah.
yay!
I do like how the puzzle of finding the dad is set up. Like, I think that that's very fun, and it makes sense for Jet, who was like a detective slash cop, to come and help this girl out, who like she has the background knowledge of feng shui, and he's able to put the clues together and put that one dude in a headlock that snapped his neck.
Yeah.
That the scene where Jet goes into the bar like a bottle. I won't need a glass. Is one of his most badass scenes. I love it so much, and it's made by the kids. The guy's annoyed running over to steal their glasses.
Mhm. In terms of like what do we think about May overall? Other than her being a Jackie Chan and or Chris Tucker analog, depending on
What was going on with her voice actress? Was she recording in another building? Like, what was like? She sounded like she was in Troll 2. They're eating her, and then they're eating me. Oh my god! Like,
I
what
think
was happening?
she was kind of going kind of like this elevated, like I'm above the world kind of thing, to kind of to then contrast when she does the daddy at the end. But it didn't fully work. There are a few of her lines I love when they jump off the thing and she goes Earthchi because it's mixed really weirdly. If you
Yeah.
if you ever played Space Channel 5, she kind of sounded like when Ulala's like listing off what your buttons are for the things like Earthchi, Airchi.
Yes, a little bit. It is very like Space Channel. Like, I don't know. And I'm not trying to be mean to this voice actress. It was just something about this performance just was so, especially with how good everyone else is, it stands out more.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think she's going for like 90s disaffected for kind of part of it.
Oh.
Just kind of like, it's the pre-manic pixie dream girl archetype. Um,
That
but
would make sense for sort of the line of where the story was going with her like not admitting about her dad to Jet till the end kind of thing. That would work, but yeah, it didn't come across perfectly.
yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think it's just hard. But I like her as a character. I think it's very cute. It's very fun. It's like a radical Edward who knows what's happening.
yes. I mean, and also the feng shui element, which I believe we've seen feng shui in some elements in the show before, but not as prominent as Boogie Woogie Feng Shui appropriately enough. Um, yeah. It's a fun little episode. It's relatively inconsequential, but it's a fun episode.
Yeah,
No, best episode.
yeah, I do like how it adds to the themes as well. Again, like it is, but we get a bit more of how syndicates work and sort of the idea of yeah, you can't ever outrun a syndicate, which is obviously laying the seeds. We get a bit of Jet also pointing out his inability to say no to a dangling question, which will inform later on. Yeah, I'm still going to the next episode. I think these two work well together because they are both showing Jet and Spike. Here's the mirror for you. Do you realize how you are now?
I love Spike in the Cowboy episode because Spike is having a full crash out. He is fully crashing out in this episode. He's so mad the entire time.
It's the angriest we ever see Spike. And on a purely petty level, Vicious doesn't bring out this side in Spike. Nobody brings out this side of Spike.
It's so good. He's so childish and so upset throughout this entire thing. And Jet and Faye are so over it.
Yeah. They get a bounty though. They get there.
They do, a big one.
I
Yeah.
think that's what annoys Spike so much, though, is that this is a one time he can't convince Jet and Faye to join him emotionally. Like,
hmm
even when he was with Perot, he like Faye understood that didn't agree with Spike going, but she understood Perot was terrifying. Here, he's like, this guy's a dickhead. Why can't you see this guy's a dickhead? And they're
Yeah.
like, no, he's just you.
The horse sends me. Everything with Onyx the horse is so when they're at the masquerade party and it opens up and he rides in on the horse out of the elevator.
That was
Cinema.
uh
Cinema.
I also love the fact you get the I guess waiter coming going, sir, it's disturbing our guests.
Sir, you can't have this horse here.
Yeah.
That guy's the most relatable guy in Bebop, man. We've all had the customer service job where you have to be like, you can't do that. Like I don't care why you just can't do that, sir.
I also love that our nominal bad guy, Teddy Bomber, is equally frustrated, albeit for different reasons, right? He's doing this all to stand out, to like be like this guy, to, be an attention-grabbing terrorist, and nobody cares about him. They're like, Spike and our cowboy buddy, Ed or Cowboy Andy is just like they're like, no time for you right now. We've got our own thing going on.
That was so funny.
I love because so I am people dislike stuff, but I'm one of his biggest defenders because I really like how it brings one of Bebop's central themes into play, and that is if you don't have a philosophy, you will die. The Unabombers thinks he has this like solid philosophy, but he's wrong. He admits at the end, like this was all pointless. Like it's the idea that if you don't self-reflect, you become an ass. And Cowboy Andy thinks he's this great cowboy, and then realizes actually I'm not. And then what does he do? He just latches onto another identity of the samurai. But even then, you can tell he clearly doesn't get it. He's not like he hasn't thought of himself. And Spike's the same. He's like, why are we killing this guy? Because Spike, this is just how you act, and you can't deal with that. It's
Yeah.
Also, what a great way to bookend that, where Spike is telling the story to Faye and Jet, and they don't believe him, and they're like, if he was a samurai, that would, and then he becomes like, that's such a good setup for a joke.
Yeah.
I really appreciate this episode is just very well structured in a lot of ways. Like the way the arc works is really fun.
And there's also two payoffs, I think, even though if they're one's unintentional and the other one's just kind of more of a gag than an actual payoff. The Space Cowboy sign off,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. We get our Space Cowboy. And also the kind of, I don't think they had Samurai Champloo on the brain when they were developing this episode, but it is funny that that is their kind of sunset soaked show after this one.
And see
I,
you Space Samurai as the little
Yeah.
end card.
I especially love that Boogie Woogie Feng Shui calls this in the preview like, oh, spaghetti western, and you issue Jet going, oh, we taking this cowboy thing a little too far.
Is the guy who voices Andy? Is that Darren Norris? Because that voice was so familiar, and I was like, that sounds like somebody from Dot Hack.
Yeah, it is,
And
it is Darren Norris.
Oh,
like, because I know if there's one thing I know, it's the sound of Pyros the Third's voice, and
Also,
that
yeah. Also
and that's that
Cosmo from
voice.
Fairly Odd Parents, right?
Yeah, Darren Norris
oh,
is in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's Cosmo and the dad in Fairly Odd Parents, but when he pops up in anime, like there's something so fun when he pops up, and this was the perfect character for his voice.
so I'm just playing those two characters back to back in my head. That's a double feature.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like
he's
one of them subtle, one of them not very subtle.
yeah, also speaking of Toonami, Megas XLR. He's in
Oh
Megas
yeah.
yes.
XLR.
Ooh.
Um yeah, no, we get some Darren Norris for Cowboy Andy.
He has such a distinct voice too. Like he's kind of like Jameson Price in that way. Like when you hear him, you know who it is. Another Dot Hack alum who I love when he's in stuff. But
Yeah.
Cowboy, I really like the backstory on Cowboy Andy. How he's just like this bored rich kid, and I can see why that would piss off Spike even more too. Like if Spike is doing a lot of this for survival, Andy's doing it for shits and giggles.
I
Yeah.
love the joke about him being in the Young Men's Cowboy Association and then getting kicked out.
The
The
YMCA bit being like, he's Christian? No, not that YMCA.
the it's also a complete role reversal for Darren Norris because he comes back in Cowboy Bebop to voice Vincent in the movie, which
That's
has
right.
is nothing. It's another Spike Spiegel nemesis, but nothing like Cowboy Andy, other than the fact that they, square off one on one at the end. But yeah, that's
What do you
complete.
think about Spike and Cowboy Andy's duel as they run up the building, ignoring why they were here in the first place?
Yeah, in the ruins of the building, and it basically they're like, should the environment look like this? Who cares? It looks awesome. It's a dream fight. Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. I think they work so well together. I also really like the scene with Andy and Faye because
Yes. Oh, that's so.
Faye also gets to taste the right medicine here. In that, hey, you've got this guy who's so up himself, your usual flirting does not work because he believes that already. So you won't win him over by doing it. And it's a really stupid detail, but I love that he serves martinis because it's that thing of like he doesn't quite get it. So sure, Cowboy and the Ranger have a stupid. They wouldn't be drinking a martini. Cowboy drinks whiskey. He doesn't know his own tropes.
And he has his own branded soup that they drink, that they eat.
And I'm
And
not
you
sure.
see Spike eating it at the end.
And I'm not sure if it's the animation error, but I love the fact it's white. So it's actually more of like a clam chowder. Again, it's not if you look at the sort of that era of cowboy movies, it's brown stews because they are long days. Yeah, they are designed to be sustenance food. But he's got this very like light or clam chowdery thing. Again, rich boy wants to play cowboy, but doesn't know what it means. He just thinks it's cool.
Also, the horse in the apartment with his own little like all of the little details around Cowboy Andy are fantastic. I want to cosplay this character. Like I'm not joking. I am genuinely thinking about
There you
making
go.
a cosplay for
You
this
you do
character.
that. Me and Sam can be the horse.
Yeah, yeah,
Pantomime horse.
yeah.
Oh man, like Master Asia.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what was it with the studio and making horses for this kind of stuff?
Horses are fun to draw.
They cannot be. Look at them.
I mean, as Uma Mesme has proved, people like horses.
That is very true.
I
Was
do
there
like the fact that the horse has like eye mannerisms as well. Again, just this other little contrast, like how those two interact.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of little fun. They're clearly having a lot of fun with this one. They're it's an interesting bit of lore when Teddy Bomber gets cornered by Spike at the beginning of the episode and is like, everybody knows everybody knows about Spike Spiegel. And it's just like, oh, you never really get that inkling of Spike's reputation in the criminal world until outside of that line, right?
Oh yeah, no, but it makes sense considering how busy they've been.
But
Sure.
then they put him right next to Andy, which I think that's another thing that makes Spike upset. Is like
Yeah, yeah.
in the same breath you're saying, "Oh, we know about you and Cowboy Andy." Like, what?
Yeah, yeah. He's like Cowboy Andy.
Like I love how that builds on the world building as well. The idea that you can be a famous bounty hunter, but there's like hundreds of you guys.
Yeah.
And it's totally possible that they have their own little fiefdoms where they don't move out. Like same with Jet and his various contacts. They don't interact. They have their own little kingdoms.
I also do like when the Teddy Bomber sends his manifesto to the show and they don't even finish it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
like he spends this whole episode being ignored by the bounty hunters who are fighting each other, and he's ignored, and they don't even read his manifesto in full. Like it's so fun. It's so well
Yeah.
structured.
Big
And it
shots. Just like, that's all the time we have. Bye.
and it
Just-
builds up perfectly to that last moment with the guy in the police truck. Because not only is he the first guy who listens, but he's the first guy who shows him physical care. And I think it's that idea of Bebop's themes of like you have to be open and see yourself and see others. I think there's an idea that these other guys, Spike could be saved if he would allow himself to be touched in that way. He's never going to do it, and that's going to lead to where we're going.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Andy or Samurai Musashi riding beside the paddy wagon, and them just being like, nothing matters. Like,
For one,
what
yeah.
an existential moment.
For one last frustrating bit, it's like I've chosen a new way, and it's just like for Spike, that's the one last twist of the blade. Just like,
Also, is Cowboy Andy wearing the Yojimbo
Yes,
oh, it's
gi?
kimono.
Yeah.
or at least very close to it.
It
Yeah,
looked like the Yojimbo one, and I kind of lost it when I saw the Yojimbo one.
yeah,
It would make sense because an interesting note this I have to bring this up is Andy's introduction is a full-scale recreation of another show, the Tokusatsu show Katsu Zubat, which is
Hmm.
about a sort of a Western cowboy guy who goes around beating villains. It's actually interesting. This whole episode kind of builds on that plot. So whenever Zubat sort of appears to people, he will do the whistling. That's how you know he's coming. And then when he gets to the front of the villain, he'll go push his hat up with two fingers. They didn't give
Spike
my
having Spike
what's
having
real.
the meltdown over the guy whistling.
What's really funny, I think, is one, they didn't do the funniest Zubat thing because the big point of Zubat is he's chasing a syndicate who killed his friend. And he's like, I'm going to get revenge by killing all of their bodyguards. And all the bodyguards are like, oh, I'm the best in Japan at knife throwing or gunslinging. And whenever he pushes the hat up, Zubat will always be like, no, I'm number one in Japan. He's like, no, you're not the one number one in Japan. Who is? And then he'll do this big point at himself and then proceed to do whatever they do better than them. So I kind of think when you count the Zubat thing in, again, it's that thing with Spike. Spike says he's the number one in Japan, and he's slightly better. And that because a big point of Zubat is he forced these guys to mess up by beating their ego because they
yeah,
can't accept they've been beaten. So they'll charge him and then he'll smack him in the face. So I think it's interesting that it's this very distinct reference to an Ishimori show that, yeah, Spike in this case is being told, you're not the best, even at what you think you're good at.
yeah,
I mean, it's so interesting too, like the history of how beloved spaghetti westerns really are in Japan, and like that 1960s era of when the Japanese were making their own riff on the spaghetti western, which and everybody knows this, but I feel like maybe reiterating for the audience, they're called spaghetti westerns because in Italy westerns got very popular. So they were making westerns in Italy, which is why they got the name spaghetti westerns, and then they turned into what got called later on colloquially sushi westerns being made in Japan. So I really love that energy so much.
well,
Yeah,
also, yeah. I mean, there's something about if you're drawing from Yojimbo and everything, you're kind of drawing from this romanticized period where Kurosawa was making those movies in the 50s and 60s, which is right around the same time where you've got like all the kind of the heyday of cowboys and revisionist cowboys. And so it's always interesting seeing how different cultures started to expand as we started to see a global boom, and they collide here in a spectacular way, personified by Spike and Andy, which is just fantastic. And then it's this episode is like Spike's ultimate headache. It's we've seen him get vulnerable, we've seen him scared, but now with this, he's just pissed off, which is
He's so
great.
childish in this episode, and I really like that.
yeah, this is Spike going full regression. Like he's. I think what I really like about this episode is, I think I mentioned this like very early on. What I love about Bebop is it never lets you believe Spike is cool for too long. He is always a dog. And this episode shows it. Like, not only do we have Andy's like, this is what, if you're not following Spike, this is what Spike looks like. But also they make him into this pathetic little child. And it's like, he acts cool, but he is not as cool as he thinks he is. And Spike is not like a figure you should aspire to be.
No.
Very,
Yeah.
I also just like the fact Andy's in all white because obviously, if you hear the terms in movies, black hat, white hat, because that's here in old westerns, the hero wore white, the villain wore black. Of course, Andy's wearing white. Andy thinks he's the hero. Spike wears black because he thinks he's the villain, but he's not. Neither of them are quite right on what they are.
And Andy's blonde, and he's blonde, and they have a similar hair shape. They even have a similar body shape, and I really love that dichotomy between the two of them. And again, like some Darren Norris just crushes it with this character, especially when you have Steve Blum having to be the pettiest, most childish version of Spike, and you have Darren Norris being a lot of his characters have that like false bravado, and they do it so well, and
Yeah.
they play off each other beautifully.
Yeah, I think Darren really excels at kind of doing that 50s, 60s dad kind of voice like he does on Fairly Odd Parents and to a degree on even Jimmy Neutron kind of has a 50s or 60s kind of vibe to it. And so to kind of play like this kind of like big boisterous cowboy figure, this kind of like Roy Rogers, because this guy isn't Clint Eastwood, this guy is like Roy Rogers,
Yeah.
complete with his lasso and everything. And
Oh, the lasso around Spike's neck.
yeah, so to see him kind of go like singing cowboy level is right in his wheelhouse, I
Yeah.
think, creatively.
I think it's cool you brought that up because the singing cowboy is definitely a big influence on Andy. Yeah, because I don't know what a big sort of trope in American movies for years was singing cowboys who, a lot of male actors were back in the day were judged. Can you both be the cowboy and sing a song? Because you've got to
Yeah.
have a musical number in your cowboy movie. And there was a point, I think, like there were so many released, they actually killed their own genre because audiences grew entirely bored with them. Because I can't remember, like, there was a stat I saw, but there was like at least 6 months, I think, in 1950, where every film out was a singing cowboy movie
Yeah.
of varying qualities.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It,
mean, that's what we do best. We run stuff into the ground.
Yay,
I,
Hollywood's learned that lesson. We're not going to have 400 of the same genre in a year. That'd be silly.
that'd be silly.
We
I
learn from
want
the
the
past.
singing. I want the singing cowboy genre to come back. I think it's been long enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has been, but it'll be Ed Sheeran now, so it wouldn't work as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't work on Game of Thrones either.
Yeah. But you got to really lean into the aesthetic, I think. Give me Jonah Hex again, but make it a musical.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Hey, listen, that would be
Actually,
amazing.
should we say this? Matt Berry exists. He's already got the beard. Someone put a hat on him and film him.
Yeah.
Oh, but he has to remain British as a cowboy. Like I
Well,
just I
yeah,
can't see him.
he'd be like he'd come in from like the from the old world and then like clean this town up.
Wasn't wasn't there an episode of What We Do in the Shadows where he did
Yes,
something like
there
that?
was. That's probably what I'm thinking of. I have a vision of him in a cowboy hat, and I couldn't quite place where it was
Yeah. There's
from.
a couple like, the New York City.
New York City?
Yeah.
I
Also when he's what's the name of his bartender persona?
I,
oh,
Typical bartender, like not, he's trying to
Daytona something Daytona. Jackie
oh Tony
Daytona.
yeah, Jackie Daytona. Just a typical American bartender.
before we ran off, guys, sort of loop back to two interesting points. The Masquerade Ball.
Yeah,
We get a piece of censorship which we haven't had for a while. So I want to comment on it. On the original Toonami airing, Jet's pot leaf was removed and changed to a peace symbol.
of course. Of course
Uh,
it
we'll give them credit. Surprisingly good edit for considering Jet's moving an awful lot. They get it on all the angles. And I also love in that Jet has decided that he's going to A, wear a costume and B, go full method.
Yeah.
Love it.
But Spike is just wearing his suit and has stuck a mask on. It's the idea they've put out Clark Kent Superman. Spike can't wear a costume. He's already wearing a costume. Faye is dressing up as sort of a big Regency girl because she wants kind of, I guess you can link that back to when the tape she's sort of doing some lost childhood stuff, and
Yeah.
Jet's just like, hey, I have the chance to be the guy who isn't a cop for once, who is just like this weird lazy stoner. I'm going to do that. Hell yeah!
And Jet was very nice and let Ein wear the wig first.
Yeah.
You have to. If you have a wig, you have to give it to your dog. Dogs in wigs are great.
But yeah, what are your final thoughts on these two episodes? Maybe this is the last goofy episode.
Last jet-centric episode, last goofy episode. We only have 4 left, guys.
That's
I have to be right eventually.
It's fine. I'll cut this out. I'll cut this out when you're wrong next week.
No.
No,
I'll just
leave it.
bleep it.
I want my flaws to exist alongside my triumphs.
Tell my tale and tell it truly, the good with the bad.
But yeah, that's
Um,
what I got.
yeah, I love Boogie Woogie Feng Shui. It's a fun episode. It's nice to get to get some time. Cowboy Funk. I hear people say they dislike it. I would really recommend if you've only seen it once, go back and actually watch it and look at how it is building to what comes before and what comes after. I said I defend this episode to the hilt. I think it's actually one of Bebop's masterpieces. In that, yeah, it's goofy, but it's goofy. It's in a very specific way to pierce the veil of Spike Spiegel. This is Spike doing sort of Jungian shadow therapy with the campest man in the world. And yeah, this should be looked at as one of the better episodes. I rewatch it. Do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, both Cowboy Bebop is great. We say that all the time. These two episodes are very, very fun. I love cowboys. I grew up in New York City my whole life. I love cowboys. It's a thing. But like, I really like the structure of this. I agree. There's like this Jungian shadow therapy thing going on. You could do this as a one act play. I think that this is one. Like, there are a couple of Cowboy Bebop episodes you could do as a one act play. This is one of them. And if you say you don't like it, then maybe you just don't like fun. Maybe that's the problem, is that you just don't like fun things. But regardless of all that, we are giddying up into our final destination. That is right. It is time for us to disembark from Toonami Absolution. We want to thank you once again for joining us and talking about the shows that made us us and the shows that made you you. We have been your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time. See you later, Space Samurai.